Life of Enslaved People, a historical exploration of daily lives, work conditions, and survival strategies. The history of slavery is a haunting reminder of humanity's capacity for cruelty and resilience. Enslaved individuals across different regions and periods endured unimaginable hardships, yet their stories are also testaments to the strength of the human spirit. This video delves into the daily lives, work conditions, and survival strategies of enslaved people, offering a comprehensive look at their experiences in various contexts. The early history of slavery. Slavery dates back to ancient civilizations, with evidence found in Mesopotamia, Egypt, Greece, and Rome. In these early societies, slavery was a common institution, often resulting from warfare, debt, or punishment. Enslaved individuals performed a variety of tasks, from manual labor to domestic service, and their treatment varied widely. Mesopotamia and Egypt. In Mesopotamia, slaves were acquired through conquests and could be bought and sold. They worked in agriculture, construction, and households. Similarly, in ancient Egypt, slaves were used for manual labor, including building monumental structures like the pyramids. Despite the harsh conditions, some slaves in Egypt could earn their freedom or rise to prominent positions. Slavery in the Americas. The transatlantic slave trade, beginning in the 15th century, marked a brutal chapter in the history of slavery. Enslaved Africans were forcibly transported to the Americas, where they faced grueling conditions on plantations. The Caribbean. In the Caribbean, the plantation economy was built on sugar production. Enslaved Africans endured harsh conditions, working long hours in the fields under the scorching sun. The work was physically demanding and dangerous, with frequent accidents involving the machinery used in sugar processing. Despite these hardships, enslaved people in the Caribbean developed intricate social networks and cultural practices. They used music, dance, and religious rituals to preserve their African heritage and foster a sense of community. Survival strategies included forming maroon communities, settlements of escaped slaves who resisted colonial authorities and created independent societies. The United States. In the United States, slavery was entrenched in the economy, particularly in the southern states. The daily lives of enslaved individuals varied depending on their roles: field hands, house servants, or skilled laborers. Field hands labored from dawn to dusk, cultivating crops like cotton, tobacco, and rice. Their work was physically exhausting, and they were often subjected to brutal punishments. House servants had slightly better conditions but were constantly under the scrutiny of their enslavers. Skilled laborers, such as blacksmiths and carpenters, had a degree of autonomy and could sometimes hire themselves out for wages. However, they still faced the threat of separation from their families and the constant possibility of being sold. Enslaved people in the United States developed various survival strategies. They formed tight-knit communities, secretly learned to read and write, and created covert networks to assist runaways. The Underground Railroad, a network of secret routes and safe houses, was instrumental in helping many enslaved individuals escape to freedom. Slavery in Latin America. In Latin America, slavery took on different forms depending on the region and the colonizing power. Brazil. Brazil received the largest number of enslaved Africans, who worked primarily on sugar plantations and in the mining industry. The work was backbreaking, and enslaved people faced harsh discipline. Yet, Brazil's diverse African population contributed to a rich cultural mosaic, blending African, indigenous, and European influences. Enslaved individuals in Brazil developed survival strategies that included religious syncretism, combining African and Catholic practices. Candomblé and other Afro-Brazilian religions provided spiritual solace and a means of cultural preservation. Additionally, quilombos, communities of escaped slaves, played a significant role in resisting slavery and maintaining African traditions. Mexico and the Andes. In Mexico and the Andes, slavery was intertwined with the encomienda system, where indigenous people and enslaved Africans worked in agriculture and mining. conditions were brutal, particularly in the silver mines of Potosi, where enslaved individuals faced high mortality rates due to hazardous working conditions. Survival strategies in these regions included forging alliances with indigenous communities and participating in local uprisings. Enslaved people also used religious and cultural practices to maintain a sense of identity and resilience. Resistance and rebellion. Despite the oppressive conditions, enslaved people across different regions consistently resisted their enslavement. Resistance took various forms, from subtle acts of defiance to outright rebellion. Subtle acts of resistance. Enslaved individuals employed everyday forms of resistance to assert their autonomy and undermine the system of slavery. These included work slowdowns, sabotage, feigning illness, and theft. These acts of defiance, though small, were significant in challenging the control of enslavers and preserving a sense of dignity. Rebellions and revolts. Throughout history, numerous slave rebellions shook the foundations of the societies that enslaved them. One of the most notable was the Haitian Revolution, 1791 to 1804, led by Toussaint Louverture. This successful uprising not only ended slavery in Haiti but also established it as the first black republic in the world. Other significant rebellions include the Stono Rebellion in South Carolina, 1739, the Demerara Rebellion in Guyana, 1823, and the Male Revolt in Brazil, 1835. These uprisings were often met with brutal repression, but they demonstrated the indomitable spirit of enslaved people and their relentless quest for freedom. If you found value in this video, please give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe to support this channel. Please share across social media platforms to reach a wider audience. Emancipation and its aftermath. The abolition of slavery occurred at different times across various regions, influenced by economic, political, and social factors. The United States. In the United States, the abolitionist movement gained momentum in the 19th century, culminating in the Civil War, 1861 to 1865. The Emancipation Proclamation, 1863, and the 13th Amendment, 1865, officially ended slavery. However, the transition to freedom was fraught with challenges. Freed people faced discrimination, violence, and economic hardship as they navigated a society that still viewed them as inferior. Latin America. In Latin America, the abolition of slavery was a gradual process. Brazil was the last country in the Americas to abolish slavery in 1888. The legacy of slavery continued to impact Afro-Latin communities, who struggled for social and economic equality. The Caribbean. In the Caribbean, the abolition of slavery was also a protracted process. The British Empire abolished slavery in 1834, but the system of apprenticeship required formerly enslaved individuals to continue working for their former enslavers for several more years. Full emancipation was achieved in 1838. The French and Dutch colonies followed similar trajectories, with emancipation occurring in the mid-19th century. The legacy of slavery. The legacy of slavery continues to shape societies around the world. The descendants of enslaved people face ongoing challenges, including systemic racism, economic disparities, and cultural erasure. However, they also draw strength from their ancestors' resilience and contributions to global culture. Cultural contributions. Enslaved people and their descendants have made significant cultural contributions, enriching music, art, literature, and cuisine. African rhythms and melodies have influenced genres like jazz, blues, reggae, and samba. The storytelling traditions of enslaved people have been passed down through generations, preserving their history and heritage. Movements for justice. The fight for justice and equality continues today. Movements like the Civil Rights Movement in the United States, the Afro-Brazilian Movement, and the global Black Lives Matter movement draw on the legacy of resistance and resilience of enslaved people. These movements seek to address the enduring impact of slavery and advocate for social, economic, and political change. Personal reflections and stories. Reflecting on the lives of enslaved individuals can be deeply personal and moving. My visit to a former plantation in the southern United States brought this history to life in a powerful way. Walking through the remnants of slave quarters and hearing stories of those who lived and worked there, I was struck by the sheer perseverance required to survive such conditions. Conversations with descendants of enslaved people highlighted their pride in their heritage and the strength they draw from their ancestors' resilience. One story that stands out is that of Harriet Jacobs, an enslaved woman who escaped and later wrote Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl. Her narrative provides a poignant and personal account of the hardships and survival strategies of enslaved women. Jacob's courage and determination to secure freedom for herself and her children is a testament to the strength of the human spirit. The life of enslaved people is a testament to human resilience in the face of unimaginable adversity. Despite the oppressive conditions they endured, enslaved individuals developed survival strategies, resisted their enslavement, and made enduring contributions to global culture. Their stories remind us of the importance of acknowledging this dark chapter in history while celebrating the strength and resilience of those who lived through it. Understanding the daily lives, work conditions, and survival strategies of enslaved people is crucial for comprehending the full impact of slavery on our world. It also underscores the ongoing struggles for justice and equality that continue to shape our societies today. As we reflect on this history, we honor the memory of those who endured and draw inspiration from their unwavering spirit. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe to our channel for more self-improvement videos. Comment below to tell us how useful you found this video. Remember to share on various social media platforms to reach a wider audience. Click the notification bell to get notified anytime we post a new video. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video.